Whether you're a farmer, builder, or engineer, the opportunities are the same. You just have to use a little innovation. This quote is from Masiyiwa. He is a Zimbabwean millionaire who has built his fortune in the telecommunications, technology, and energy environment. When he speaks on opportunity, he is focusing on this idea that there is always going to be something exactly where you are at that you can do to help create future opportunities for yourself. It is not as important to try to get to the other side of the tracks or to get on the other side of the grass. There is going to be a problem exactly within your life that you can focus on solving. When I speak on entrepreneurship, you guys already know I'm talking about solving a problem for a profit. That is what entrepreneurship is. So when you see a problem, you want to immediately take action when it comes to creating solutions to that problem. Today we talk about 7 life lessons that Strive gives to help you become a millionaire within your own life. So number 1, I think it's important to start with why it's important to create millionaires. As you guys already know, my passion is to make sure that black wealth does not hit zero in the year 2053 as is currently projected. And the reason that this is important was something that I struggled with many years because of just my overall difficulties with money. Does it make me greedy because I talk about money? Does it make me selfish, or does it mean something negative about me? And as I got over that, I was able to realize that whether you're poor or whether you're rich does not really have an effect on your selfishness or your greed. You could be a greedy person who will steal and kill and do all sorts of evil for money, and you could have none. Or you could be that person and you can have plenty of it. Money, I look at it as a magnifier. It's no different than someone who is drinking or something like that, where it is not the alcohol that is talking, it is not the money that is talking, it is the person who is already there. It is just a magnifier of who you already are. Strive says that there is no better patriotism or showing your love of country than to invest in creating wealth for others and employment. And it's important to understand that each problem that we face within societies, a lot of it is driven by a lack of opportunities. And what is it that people are looking to create with these opportunities? They want the opportunity to choose where they live, to decide how their children will be educated, or they just simply want the ability to be able to eat healthy food where they don't have to sacrifice on certain things because the opportunity isn't there. And so when you understand that each of us are striving for the same thing, in the system that we currently use so that we can have access to these opportunities requires us to be able to build wealth in some way, shape, or form. If we find in 100 years that we're just trading rocks, then everybody will be talking about how do you accumulate the most rocks, right? It has little to do with the exchange that you're using to get the goods. It's just whatever that is. There's nothing wrong with someone striving to get the tools, the leverage necessary to be able to exchange for something else that they actually want and they find value in. You have to have value. You have to be able to give value to get value. And that really is the very, very fundamental level of the system. So if you want to show your patriotism and your love for your country, then create opportunities for others. That's what we're doing here, because we know that it is going to help the country as a whole and is going to help people as a whole. If each of us helps one person, the world's going to be an absolutely amazing place. Number 2, Strive said that integrity is better capital than money, that it goes farther, it spends better, and it provides more opportunities for you. It becomes very important to make sure that you're understanding as you are gathering wealth, as you are providing value, as you are solving problems within your community and abroad, that you want to make sure you're going about it the right way. That when you operate from a high level of integrity, right, the simple saying I've always heard is integrity is who you are when no one is looking, right? Someone who holds that standard that is not tied to any external force. It's just something that you have inside of you. I believe that each of us has good in us, that we are striving towards creating something. And sometimes what seems as corruption is just someone who has lost hope. They just don't believe that there's any other way to accomplish whatever the goal that they have set for themselves is. But you want to make sure that you maintain your integrity. You want to be able to say, you know what, I did it the right way. You want to be proud of the wealth that you've created. And you also don't want to be someone who has stolen and pillaged and taken advantage of others to the point that they are no longer safe within society. You find a lot of cultures when you're looking at different kings or even different political apparatuses where they can't go outside without massive amounts of protection and guards because people are very upset with them. If they operated from a level of integrity, their own life experiences would be better, right? Like you cannot, all the money in the world will not give you the ability to buy respect and love. So you want to make sure that you are not sacrificing these things because you're so focused on the short-term gains of money. Make sure that you're solving problems and you're doing things the right way. Number three is you want to make sure that you're thinking like a businessman, whether you run a business or you work in a company. And one of the ways that Strive talks about is he's like, think of it like a sports team. If you were the coach of a team or if you were the manager or the GM, it's always very fascinating when you look at any sport where you want to make sure that you have different pieces, where you understand that everyone has a strength. Having played baseball through college, you understand that there are people whose role is to get on base, and then they are fast, and so they steal bases and get in scoring position, which means that they are very close to being able to score off of a base hit. And then there are going to be other people who are sort of slower and they're not as fast, so their goal is just to hit the ball absolutely as far as they possibly can. And then they're going to strike out more often because that's their role. They understand they're not trying to get base hits. They're not going to hit a grounder and be able to beat it out. And so you understand that within sports, everybody has a different role. Even in football, the wide receiver has a different role than the O lineman. You want to have a different body composition. You want to practice differently. And no one is trying to do someone else's job. And you really appreciate that in sports where everyone understands that for the team to win, we have to work together really well. And we can't be selfish. And even though someone may get all the credit and the interviews and the endorsements, it doesn't change what my function is on my job. And in sports, you'll see that the running back, even though the running back gets all the credit, they often, if they're a good running back, will give credit to their O linemen, where they're saying they opened the holes for me, they did the blocking for me. I could not have performed at the level without them. Same with the quarterback. They often get all the credit and the praises, and then they do the same thing. They give credit to their O linemen for protecting them. They give credit to the coaches for doing the schemes in the defense for keeping the score manageable, right? Everybody understands in sports that it is not a one-person show. That no matter how amazing you are, you have to have people around you. Even the best of all times, whether you're talking about the quarterbacks, where you're talking about Tom Brady, or you're talking about Michael Jordan, or if you're feeling that you want to talk about any other person, you'll find that when those athletes literally have no one around them, even though they can be very competitive, even though they can get into the playoffs, they are not going to be able to win the championship against a more balanced, well-oiled machine of a team. So the goal is to get a team where no one person is doing everything, but everybody is working together in unison and they understand their function and their roles in doing that. We find that we lose that in a lot of companies where they do not look at each other as members of the same team. My department is different than your department. We're doing things our way. You do things over there. You're more of an annoyance than anything else. And those companies don't function as well. You have to have that culture where everybody understands they're part of the same team and they're striving towards the same goal. Next, Strive talks about the importance of tackling corruption. It doesn't matter what country that you're in, you will find that corruption is going to be at the heart of a lot of problems. Even in America, there are tons of resources available, yet corruption makes it difficult for everyone to have access. Politicians are able to be bought off by people with power and businesses. So Strive, understanding that he has $1 billion corporation, he understands that it's up to all of us, that if we can get rid of corruption and we can fix the governance within our systems, that there would be no hunger, there would be no injustice, that every child would be in school, that everyone will have an equal opportunity. But no matter what country you're in, if you take the people who have power and influence and wealth, they have different lives than those who don't. The system does not operate the same way for each individual, but it should. It should. And in America, you should be able to say that a poor black family in Mississippi should have the exact same opportunity as a wealthy Caucasian family in Connecticut. But that's just not the way the system is structured right now. And you want to say that that is something that we should strive for. That is not something that we should accept as saying, well, that will never happen. That should be the standard that we are holding ourselves towards. And so Strive holds that same belief that once you get rid of corruption, which is a fancy way of saying once you get rid of favoritism, once you get rid of prejudice, where the system is not blind, the system has a preference, and the system has people that they don't like. And usually the people without power who don't have the funds to defend themselves, they're usually the ones in each system that gets left behind. Those are the ones that you end up having your military base put in their yards. It's the ones where you have your prisons and your waste managements where they're put over in their communities. Or even if you want to talk about private enterprises, where strip clubs and different establishments that bring certain clientele, we'll say, those are approved in certain neighborhoods because those neighborhoods don't have representation within the governing system. And so if you want to get rid of corruption as a whole, then you're going to have to be able to look at this and say, well, what can we fix? And opportunity is there. We just have to allow the opportunity to flow to everyone. Right? We're always talking about capitalism and how it creates opportunities for everyone, and it should, and it can, but we have to be intentional with that. We cannot simply say that it just works out because it doesn't. The numbers support that. The people who have power are making the decisions, and the people without power are suffering from them. And on the last two, we're going to end where we started. You want to make sure that you understand, for you to see opportunities, you have to be looking for opportunities. And what I mean by that is when you see a problem, you have to be thinking, how can I solve that? You cannot look at a problem and then say, this is why my life is the way it is, and then you keep moving. That is not looking for opportunities. Looking for an opportunity means that this is the way life is, and I do not accept the way that things are, and I'm going to figure out a way to make things better. I'm going to figure out a way to improve and fix this problem within our system or within my family or within my company. I'm going to figure this out. That is what it means to look for opportunities. You have to be looking for them. And last, you want to recognize that opportunities are in the problems. And that's just a reminder that each time you find a problem in your life, that is an opportunity that you can help yourself and someone else. If you see an issue, look at solving it. It really is that simple. You'll find that the most successful, all these black billionaires and millionaires that we have been discussing and highlighting, each of them have had a problem that they then worked on solving. They did not accept it for the way it is. And each time that you face difficulties or run into a challenge, I can tell you, at least for me, I get excited because I know that that means that once I get through there, that it's going to be difficult for someone else to emulate what I'm doing. Because if it was easy, then everyone would already be here, but it must not be. So that means there is an opportunity for me to claim my stake, for me to be able to solve this problem. And so, as you guys already know, right, my focus on making sure black wealth doesn't hit zero in the year 2053, that opportunity is very clear to me. There is not many people who are focused on that as I am, who are not as outspoken and comfortable saying, you know, this is not okay. What can we do within our community, and where can we collaborate with other communities where we can work together? Because as I always say, by the time we're in year 2053, America is going to be a majority minority country. So when you're talking about black and brown wealth coming to zero, then that means that the overall American economy is going to suffer. So when we're solving these problems, it's not that we're solving it for any one particular person, we're solving it for the entire country. And we played a pivotal role in building the country, so it is something that we should take pride in, making sure it remains a stable and powerful environment that includes us and allows us to be able to build wealth and to continue the legacy. And if you are interested in figuring out how to create your own Lifetime Millionaire Success Blueprint, I have it in the show notes, or you can go to forecasthope.com/opportunity. There you'll be able to download your free blueprint, and then you can start implementing these strategies in your life today so that you're able to start creating your millionaire lifestyle and opportunities for tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Dre. If you've enjoyed this video, I just simply ask you to subscribe. If you enjoy listening to the audio, I ask you to subscribe. I do appreciate you guys' time, and I will be back tomorrow. Until then, continue blessings on your journey to become the champion of your dream life. And as always, better self, better wealth.